Being a divorce lawyer is kind of a thankless job. Sure, the money's good, but your conscience really weighs at you. For James, he knows that he gets paid well, but he has this sinking feeling in his gut every time he wins a case. He's good, one of the best at it, and it comes from a core philosophy that James has, which is that love isn't really real. It's just something that he can use to win cases. A lot of James' colleagues got married, and he always thought that it was stupid for people who deal with divorce and millions of dollars on the line every single day to do so. But James did have one secret, a secret that he's never seen in any of his divorce cases, no matter how much money was on the line. To ease his conscience, James uses his money to have a secret project he does every single night to help people. One day, James got screamed at by a woman that he just beat in court. "You don't care about anyone," she said. "Just yourself. You disgust me." James straightened his tie, trying not to acknowledge her. He knew that clients would get angry when they lost their case, and the other lawyer would have to deal with that because he won. Still, something ate at him deep inside. This was the kind of night that he needed to patrol. This was the kind of night that he needed to get away from everything. He got to his apartment and pressed a false wall. The lair of Solo Man appeared behind it in a secret room. Leather costume, bandana mask to put over his face, and millions of dollars invested in technology like bombs and drones to keep the citizens of the city safe. The newspapers called him Solo Man, and James couldn't help but find it a bit funny. In the middle of his patrol, he had a tip, and when he got to the warehouse, it was almost too late. A religious cult called the Cult of the Flame was about to burn a young girl alive. James knew that he couldn't just rush into a group of armed cultists. They would gun him down immediately. He didn't have superpowers or anything. But James's analytical mind and technology could keep him safe and hopefully save the young girl's life. They were spread out in a big room with candles, and the young girl was tied to a pyre. They were going to burn her like Joan of Arc burned. It was going to be a massacre. Solo Man pressed buttons on his communicator and sent his drones down. He snuck through the lair as the cultists planned their ritual, planting bombs, making sure that the pyrotechnics of the flames would never reach the pyre. The ritual came to an end, and James knew that he had to strike now. He activated the drones, who all fired on the cultists, shooting them in the knees, the legs, the arms, hopefully not killing them, but definitely taking them out of the fight. The cultists screamed, and the young girl started crying. One of them frantically ran to lit the pyre on fire, but James jumped and tackled him, revealing himself to the room. "Solo Man," the cultist said. James punched him out before he could say anything. The young girl screamed. He was terrifying in his costume, with lifts on his shoes and a white bandana around his face. "Please don't hurt me," the young girl said. "I'm here to help," James responded. He untied her from the funeral pyre and grabbed her by the waist. She tensed and almost punched him. "Calm down," he said. He grappled to the ceiling and pulled himself out of the pyre room as his drones opened fire on the cultists, sending them all to the hospital. Solo Man didn't kill, but in the American medical system, he definitely racked up millions of dollars in medical bills every single night. When they were on the rooftop, safe, James and the young girl looked at each other. "There's a fire escape that way. Now please tell me you won't trust another cult before you..." The young girl hugged James. "Thank you," she said. "You saved my life." James tensed. He didn't know what to say or do when people he saved were grateful. "It's my job. Please, go." The girl took a step back and smiled before going down to the fire escape. James called the police and tried not to think about anything. James watched the sun rise over the city after a long night of work. He'd saved 4 people's lives today, but only one of them had hugged him, the girl. He has court in about 2 hours. He's exhausted, but James over the years has learned how to exist without sleep. He took a deep exhale and prepared himself for another day of breaking people's hearts. Hopefully the work that he did every night would make up for it. Bang! A searing pain in James's chest. He fell to the ground and noticed the woman too late. She was a beautiful woman in a leather assassin's costume. It was a crazy thing to think, but James thought it was nice that she was the last person he would see before he died. This was a really bad wound. His heart was nicked. He tried to get his drones to activate, but the woman shot his drone activator off of his wrist before he could do anything. "I'm sorry about this," the woman said. "I actually think you help people, but my employers want you dead, and it's nothing personal." He didn't have his activator, but James could still fight. He kicked at her sniper, knocking it off the building's roof. The woman went for her pistol, but James jumped at her legs, grabbing them, trying to put them into a jiu-jitsu hold. But the woman was healthy, and James was bleeding out. She kicked him in the face, and he fell backwards onto the building, putting the pistol up to his eye. You don't give up, do you? The woman said. James knew ever since he put on this costume that he would die in it, but he didn't think that it would be so soon. He thought about all the people that were still hurting, people that he could still help. He thought about all the divorces that ended in a way that he didn't feel good about, people that he locked away for money. In one last desperate bid for life, James took his mask off. "I'm a person," he screamed. "Please." The woman's eyes widened. In that moment, James pressed a button on his second detonator, and a bomb went off behind the woman, smashing her into a wall, knocking her unconscious. He was bleeding out. He could die up here. He moved to go away from the building, to grapple hook to safety. He looked at the woman's unconscious form. She was an assassin, but she had a mask on. She was like him. If he let the cops find her, it was going to be 20 to life, attempted murder. James thought. He weighed the pros and cons. He made a decision. The woman woke up. She wasn't in jail. She was in James's nice apartment, lying in his bed. She panicked, looking for the door. "It's okay," James said. "I'm not going to hurt you." The woman reached up to her face. "Don't worry, your mask is still on. I don't know who you are. But I want to talk to you about something." "Is this a trick?" the woman said. She looked at the bandages around his chest. "I tried to kill you," she said. "I know," James said. "I was thinking about you and me, what we've been doing." The woman looked around. "You don't know anything about me," she said. "I think I do," James said. "You've compartmentalized things. You think that it's okay to do what you do because you have a life outside of it. You do something to make you feel like you're a good person, right?" The woman shifted uncomfortably. "You don't know anything about my life," she said. "I know," James said. "But the fact of the matter is, you're going to have to live with what you've done for the rest of your life. And I can call the cops in here whenever I want." The woman looked down and noticed that she was handcuffed to the bed. He got her. "But I'm not going to do that," James said, "because I believe that people can change." The woman laughed, scoffing. "We both know that you're going to kill me," she said. "Just get it over with." "No, I don't think I will," James said. "In fact, I think that you're going to learn that my way of doing things is much better than you've ever done them." "And how are we going to do things your way?" the woman said. James smiled. He thought about all the years in courtrooms, all the years believing that love wasn't real, that people didn't change. And he thought about why he started doing this, why he started saving innocent people. He smiled. "You're going to have to trust me," James said.